We will call the meeting to order. Kristen, would you take roll, please?
Commissioner Corbett?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Mayor Lindsay?
Here.
Commissioner Hill?
Here.
Commissioner Walden?
Here.
You have before you the agenda for this evening.
Make a motion we approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Appearances and acknowledgments. Acknowledge the retail on-sale liquor license transfer application and set a date of hearing for LTZ LLC to Teasers to Hideaway Investments LLC / Teasers. Is there anyone here that wanted to speak for that? We have the application in front of us and that, so.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge retail on-sale liquor license transfer application, set a date for October 16th at 5:35 for Teaser or LTZ LLC Teasers to Hideaway Investments LLC Teasers. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there anything that anyone wants removed from the consent calendar? If not, do we have a motion?
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under old business, 5:35, approximately, we're a little bit on the early side, so I'm going to move down to new business here first. Authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with the South Dakota Department of Transportation, PS 6307, parentheses 12, Lake County, PCN 061C, Egan Avenue Crossing Surface Upgrade. And I'm going to ask Chad to address that.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Last summer of 2016 and fall timeframe, the mayor and Street Superintendent Gagnon and others had brought up there was some concerns about the crossing on Egan Avenue of the railroad tracks, and so we approached South Dakota DOT and the BNSF about what could possibly be done at that time, and they talked about a program they have where we could look into it and possibly qualify for replacement of that crossing surface. After some meetings last fall and some discussions earlier this year, you see before you they were able to incorporate this into their plan. When I say they, the South Dakota Department of Transportation, planning that this project to be put a new concrete hard surface there, wide enough to also accommodate sidewalks at this location, where under their normal program, if you will. And that would be where the city would pay 10% of the total project costs. But in-kind work accomplished by the city would be eligible to go towards that. And you'll see that in the agreement. Basically, we anticipate that if you look at the Exhibit A on the last page of your agenda packet, there's a very rough estimate of some of the different items that would be accomplished by city crews for this project. That amounts to just under $30,000, $29,500. DOT's estimated cost for this total project, including the city's work, is about $194,000. And so we would be eligible. We would be responsible to pay 10% of that, or $19,000 approximately. If we end up spending $29,000, like it's anticipated, the state would in turn reimburse us back $10,000. That's how we would get to our 10%. So we had used a similar method, if you will, on the Highland Avenue crossing a few years ago. However, the only difference there, the railroad technically doesn't own that, so the other party to that agreement was the elevator, actually. At least maybe they weren't a party to the agreement, but they were facilitators in the project. And so we enter into this agreement. We would be able to get those tracks upgraded next year with some work by the Public Works Department, so it's not negligible. It'll be something that the crews will work on. I've talked to Gary Gagnon, and we went over it. They're comfortable with it and such, and there will be a closing period when that crossing will be closed. I suspect it would be, I don't have definitive numbers, but I suspect could be up to 2 weeks, but I suspect it would be shorter, maybe a week and a half, but we're subject to BNSF, easy for me to say, BNSF Railway Company, their schedule as well. So I would recommend proceeding with this agreement. This was included in the budget too. I mean, we did submit this into the budget, although you'll notice most of these items are material or labor hours. A lot of them are labor hour costs, but there would be some actual expenditures for concrete and asphalt and signage material. So there'll be some out of pocket, so to speak, from the city, but a lot of it will be labor.
And the current crossing material, not between the tracks and that, is a combination of steel framing with rubber. And the rubber has broken away, leaving the steel exposed. Some of that steel is bent and sticks up and is sharp and is dangerous to motorcycles and automobiles in that crossing it. So it's something in that we visited with the railroad, and they came up and pounded down and bent as much of it back as they possibly could, but it's something that keeps shifting with the weather. So this is definitely, the way to go to solve it for the long term.
I'll make a motion we authorize the mayor to sign agreement with South Dakota DOT PS 6307 Prin 12 Lake County PCN 061C Egan Avenue Crossing Surface Upgrade.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, under old business, 535, hearing on ordinance 1593, amend Appendix B zoning, adding MU-E on the Egan Avenue Overlay District. Is there anyone who wanted to talk about it at this point in time? If not, we would move on into second reading. Chad, did you want to address that at all?
I can talk briefly. You see in your agenda packet, you have the notice of this hearing, and then the ordinance itself, and then the application for the petition and the zoning change from Mr. Michael Hope. We talked about this at the first reading some, and we also had this at a separate initial hearing with the Planning Commission, where they unanimously recommended approval of this. This adds the area where the entire block where the old Garfield School was, it adds this overlay district. It doesn't change the underlying district. It adds this mixed-use Egan Avenue overlay district on top of that block. I have not had anybody contact me since the first reading. There's a few questions from landowners before the hearing of the Planning Commission, just wondering what this was, if this applied to their property and so on. None of the expressed concerns. They were just wanting to know, and so I would also continue to recommend that this be approved.
Okay. Questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 1593, amend Appendix B zoning, adding MU-E Egan Avenue Overlay District.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I guess
Yes.
there was a letter from you. Did she want to speak to this at all?
I opened it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you did. Mayor.
Yes.
I didn't know she understood.
He's just asking if you wanted to speak to it or anything.
I think you're doing
Okay.
great.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. I just want to make sure.
Thank you.
The
Hey,
critical
we-
look on your face.
Yeah. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 535 or thereafter,
Roy.
hearing on ordinance 1594.
Can we do roll call for the second?
We can do roll call.
Roll call.
Okay, Kristen?
Corbin,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Mayor Lindsay,
Aye.
Mayor Waldner, Commissioner
You can
Waldner,
call
Aye.
him Mayor.
Commissioner Phil.
Aye.
You just moved up.
Or down. Being a commissioner, right?
Okay,
Go ahead,
five-
sorry.
Number 3, no, that's fine. 535 or thereafter, hearing on ordinance 1594. Amend Appendix B zoning, amend MUE Egan Avenue Overlay District. Is there anyone that wants to speak to that? Chad, did you want to add anything to that?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I can say a few things. Included in the agenda packet is the notice for this hearing for this change, and also in the ordinance itself. Also included is a letter from Monica and Bill Pickard requesting that twin homes be added to the mixed-use Egan Avenue Overlay District as a conditional use, and then a sketch attached to that letter. This was also before the Planning Commission when they had their hearing. They unanimously recommended to approve this with the same language that you see in the proposed ordinance of adding this as a conditional use, which reads as follows: twin homes, provided that access is not proposed directly onto Egan Avenue. That language, I worked with First District Association of Local Governments. They have some planners on staff and they have some familiarity with our zoning district, and they thought that would be an appropriate clause to include in the ordinance for this proposed change. The Egan Avenue Overlay District extends all the way from First Street North along Egan Avenue down to 10th Street, and then it extends in a few adjacent areas as well. And as shown on the map, this ordinance that you had just passed prior would also add it to the Garfield area that we talked about, but this would allow twin homes to be placed in this overlay district as a conditional use for that. I would recommend approval of this as well.
Questions or comments? Not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 1594, amend Appendix B zoning, amend MU-E Egan Avenue Overlay District.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Kristen, would you do roll call, please?
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Wallner,
Aye.
Commissioner Corbin,
Aye.
Mayor Lindsay,
Aye.
Commissioner Thel.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Hey, under announcements, change the meeting date to October 10th, since October 9th is considered a holiday. And then Lake County Electronic Recycling Drop-Off Event will be October 28th, and there will be more information coming in that for the public at a later date. And seeing
9
no...
to 3.
What's that?
That's 9 to 3, the electronics drop-off.
Okay. And I'm assuming at the recycling center again?
Yeah, it's probably worth noting, it's not the items that are accepted that aren't accepted that sometimes can be confusing. And items not accepted includes but not limited to microwaves, humidifiers, dehumidifiers, vacuums, light fixtures, exercise equipment, hair dryers, curling irons, many of those, electric toothbrushes, coffee pots, crock pots, blenders, and space heaters. So that list that I gave are the things that are not accepted. So it's just worth noting. I appreciate this opportunity for the community to get away with a lot of stuff out of town here that could be hazardous waste for us, those kinds of things. So I think Dakota State is going to help us with this one.
I don't have a list of volunteers yet that has come to our office, but I'm sure we'll be anticipating one very soon.
Well, get that to us and we'll approve it.
Sounds good.
For the 28th. Thanks, Mayor.
All right, seeing no executive session, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.